Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal. Back again with another transfer update. This time round, we are talking about Declan Rice. John Cross from the Mirrors had something to say about this one. He's expecting a 100 million plus bid for Declan Rice from Arsenal. I've been thinking about that the last couple of days, and I'm thinking we're going to have to do that. Not necessarily because Man City have come in for him, but because West Ham just know we have a very big asset on our hands and we're not going to let him go for cheap. So we're going to talk about that one. And also more updates from him in terms of Thomas Partey and Arsenal's plans for Timber and Havertz and all that, and also Romeo Lavia. So let's get to it and let's start with Declan Rice. Before I read for you what he has to say, there's a weird kind of chess game going on with Arsenal and Man City right now. The last 7 days, let's say from Monday, Arsenal are going to bid for Declan Rice. They're going to make a second bid. And I think Tuesday, Arsenal have made the bid. Wednesday, Man City have asked about Declan Rice. Then Thursday, Man City are going to make a bid. This and that. Arsenal are going to make a third bid. And then all of a sudden, Friday, shush, everyone has gone quiet. No one is talking about it. Not many journalists have had any mention about it, especially the top ones. It's literally gone quiet in terms of actual bids being made. Man City have gone quiet, Arsenal have gone quiet. So a bit of chess being played. Maybe it's like when you watch Tom and Jerry and Tom is chasing Jerry and Jerry's trying to run away, and then all of a sudden they keep quiet and Jerry's trying to look for Tom, is trying to run behind him, and Tom is trying to jump scare Jerry and all that. Why did I make a Tom and Jerry reference? Like, this Declan Rice thing is driving me crazy. I'm trying to compare it to Tom and Jerry. Like, it's driving me crazy. Anyway, it's a game of chess, so it's up to Arteta and Guardiola and all the guys involved in the negotiations, and West Ham as well. West Ham, yes, they want that money. That money will help them a lot, but they don't even really need to sell. I've heard from some of their fans, and they're like, we can keep him if we want. We can actually keep him. Like, we don't have to sell him. He can help us in the Europa League and take us to the next stage, maybe try and qualify for the Champions League next season. So they don't really need to sell him. Yes, it's going to be a great financial benefit, but they don't really need to sell him. But for us, we really need midfielders, and the Man City really need midfielders after winning a treble. I mean, Gundogan has gone. Bernardo Silva could go, but they already signed Kovacic. They still have Rodri. They still have De Bruyne. They still have the likes of Palmer, Imagine, who can play in the midfield role, the left side. So they still have options. But for us, it's different. Partey could be leaving. El Neni is leaving. Lokonga could be leaving. Xhaka is leaving as well. So you have a bit of trouble. So what has John Cross from the Mirror has to say about this? That the title of it is Arsenal plot 200 million pound spree on 3 transfers as Thomas Partey replacement identified. So according to the article, he says Arsenal are ready to make a third bid for Declan Rice and then carry on spending in the move for Romeo Lavia. Ghana's boss Mikel Arteta is facing a desperate battle to beat Manchester City to sign Rice and could be forced to go up to 100 million to get their man. That would be a lot of money, like, I'll come to that. Let me read the rest of the article. City have yet to table a firm offer, but their interests have stand up to the pressure on Arsenal. But even as they try to get their number one target over the line, they're ready to spend big elsewhere. So it's not just the Declan Rice one. We're looking to spend big elsewhere, as already done. He also goes on to say Arsenal have already agreed a 65 million deal for Chelsea star Kai Havertz and will also look to bid 40 million for Southampton midfielder Lavia. That is likely to end Arsenal's interest in Brighton's Moises Caicedo, who is wanted by Chelsea. But Arsenal sees Lavia as a younger option and cheaper deal, as well as having huge potential. Lavia would be seen as a replacement for Thomas Partey. That is interesting. If that is actually the plan, that I'm not sure about that one. I'm not sure about him being a direct replacement for Thomas Partey. Mirror Football revealed was attracting interest from Italy and now Saudi Arabia as well. Arsenal have more than 180 million to spend this summer and are determined to get major reinforcements, but that figure could go even higher if they sell players. They could cash in on Thomas Partey. Bayer Leverkusen have agreed a deal to sign Granit Xhaka, and the likes of Rob Holding and Kieran Tierney could go. Arsenal also want Ajax versatile defender Julian Timber to be completed soon, but Trice has always been their number one target. So a lot to uncover from that. So the first point is on Declan Rice us having to spend 100 million pounds. Now, if we end up spending that and end up getting the player, I have no problem with that. But people will make it look like we spent 100 million because we waited for too long. We could have bought him for 90 million before Man City came in for him. I don't think that is particularly the case. West Ham have always wanted 100 million plus with the biggest and the best structure they could find, because when was the last time they had such an asset to sell, West Ham? Is it like Dimitri Payet maybe? And that was like back in 2016, 2017. After that, they've not really had an asset for 100 million. And even Payet was nowhere near 100 million. Like, this is the first time West Ham have had someone who they can sell for 100 million plus. Someone who's led them to a trophy for the first time, like since 1980. Someone who's a regular for the English national team. He plays every single day. He doesn't, the managers don't even consider not picking him for England, Southgate. Not at all. He's always in the lineup. He's already been picked for Euros. He's been at the recent World Cup as well. And you can easily see him being in the future World Cups as well for England, like, and Euros as well next year. Like, he's a direct pick, like he's a guaranteed pick for England. So West Ham have not really had this kind of players ever. Like, it's been a long time. If you're a West Ham fan watching this, let me know, when was the last time you had an asset like this who you could sell for that kind of money? So that being the case, of course, they want a lot of money. It's not like the previous assets where they could sell a player for 10 million, 15 million. Like, even if you look at their squad right now, Fabianski, how much would Fabianski be sold for? 15 million. How much would Kat Zuma be sold for? 15, 20 million. How much would Bowen be sold for? Let's say 60 million or something. How much would someone like a Lanzini be sold for? Pretty much nothing. I think he's actually even leaving the club. How much would someone like an Antonio be sold for? Like, none of those players, apart maybe from Bowen and maybe one other, maybe a Bendrama or something, even comes near 50, 60 million. Declan Rice is basically worth double what anyone else is worth in that team. Like, you can go from Declan Rice 100 million, and the next player in terms of value could be like a Bowen or something for 60, maybe 55 million. That is a huge gap. So West Ham have not really ever had a player like this who they could sell. So of course they want 100 million plus. They would never have accepted us giving them 75 million plus 50 million add-ons. I also have a feeling, even if Man City make that bid and their bid is more attainable and everything, I still don't think West Ham would want 90 million, just 90 million for their ass. That's basically 75 million guaranteed. Fine, the add-ons could be attainable, but what if at least one of them is not attainable? That means they're like getting Declan Rice for 85 million or something, or them selling Declan Rice for that cheap price. A player who is wanted by Arsenal, by Man City, by Chelsea, by Man United as well. This is a player who's wanted by several teams. So they know that as well. So they want to sell him for a huge price, and that is more than 100 million. Not many players have gone for 100 million in the transfer markets. The ones I can remember from the top of my head: Neymar, Mbappe, Enzo Fernandez recently for Chelsea. There was also, I think, Grealish for Man City. Who am I forgetting? Coutinho to Barcelona. There's not too many. I don't think you can mention more than 10 who've gone for 100 million. So Declan Rice is going to get into a very, very unique list of players. Like, obviously in the future, players will be sold for more than 100 million. Like, cheaper players will be sold for 90, 100 million, the way the market is going. But right now, it's not too many players you can buy for 100 million that are going to make an impact for your team. That is from West Ham's side. Another thing for West Ham as well, do they really want to sell Declan Rice to London rivals because they see us as London rivals? Or do they actually feel like, you know what, if you're going to sell Declan Rice, you want to sell him to a team like Real Madrid or Man City, where he's going to go and compete for the Champions League every single season? And somehow they see Arsenal as a competitor, maybe for top 6 or top 4 or whatever they feel like over there at I almost said Upton Park at London Stadium, however they feel. Maybe they feel like we're their rivals and you're going to be competing with them for the top 6 like we did like 2 years ago or something. So they're like, no, you're not going to sell to Arsenal. We'd rather sell them to Man City and all that. So that is from their point of view. From our point of view, we've never really spent that kind of money at all. Never, ever spent that kind of money. This time, I feel like we need to spend that kind of money. We've been in a title race. We are back in the Champions League. our squad is very good, but it's full of young players who've never competed at that level before, the likes of Saka, the likes of Martinelli. So we need to add that kind of experience. I mean, Declan Rice has never played there before, yes, but he brings experience. He's played at other big stages like the Euros and at the World Cup as well. And that midfield, he's not as young as our 21-year-olds and our 20-year-olds. So he brings that experience and that grit and that leadership. For a young player like that, his leadership qualities are up here. And he's also experienced that fulfillment of lifting a trophy, a big European trophy, if they want to call it big, they're calling it big, so you're going to call it big with them. So he's going to add something for sure in your team. 100% is going to add something in your team. So this was actually had the article here. So John Cross said, Arsenal are ready to submit their third bid for Declan Rice and will be forced to eclipse the 100 million for the 24-year-old. With potential departure of Thomas Partey, Arsenal will bid 40 million to sign Romeo Lavia. So in our case, I think that would be decent money to spend. For me, midfield is very important. People are usually used to forward players like the likes of Mbappe and Neymar going for that kind of price. But for me, midfield is the most important position. That is the engine of the team. Without a 30-goal striker, you can still end up scoring 88 goals like Arsenal did last season. You can still end up winning games without having a 30, 40-goal striker in your team. But without having a midfielder, even let's say for a goalkeeper, even if you don't have a great goalkeeper, you could still win the game 5-4 if you have good forward players. But if you don't have a midfield, you are not going to score any goals. Your forward players are not going to get any chances because you're not going to get possession of the ball. And in terms of defensively, your goalkeeper is going to have to make save after save after save. Your defender is going to have to defend throughout the game because of the kind of possession and the kind of chances being created by the other team because of the lack of midfield. Midfield is very important. Without a midfield, you're not going to score and you're going to concede a bunch of goals. So for me, I think that is a very important position. And we've been saying we need a midfielder for so many years. Since Patrick Vieira left, you always said you need a midfielder. Thomas Partey recently came in and kind of covered that. That was like the first genuine signing. You're like, you know what, yeah, we are trying to kind of relieve the void or to cover the void that Patrick Vieira left all those years ago. That was like 16 years ago at that time. Now, if Thomas Partey leaves as well, then you're basically trying to replace Vieira and trying to replace Partey as well. And to do that, you have to get players like Declan Rice. I don't think there's too many players who can do that. In the article as well, it goes on to say is the number one target, and City will make will table a firm offer, but Arsenal are still he's our number one target and we still want to get him, but we're going to have to pay 100 million. He's obviously gone on to talk about Kai Havertz and us spending 65 million, and on that obviously it's very easy to forget about Kai Havertz and Timber because they really focused on that Declan Rice deal, but we have actually splashed a lot of money for Havertz, so that kind of shows me that we are kind of changing our ways. Usually we don't pay 60 million for players and then target 100 million players. No, if back in the day, if you had signed someone like a Kai Havertz for 60 million, our next targets would have been 20 million, 15 million, just like we did with someone like an Aubameyang. After they signed Aubameyang for like 60 million, we were trying to look at the likes of Mkhitaryan and switching with Alexis Sanchez or swapping and all that. So we never go to that kind of price. But this time, maybe since we've been competing for a league title, they really want to go to the next level. And I believe they know we are so close to that. I don't think they would let that slide like, okay, we're not going to sign Rice, we're not going to sign Caicedo, we're going to let Partey go, we're going to frustrate the fans by signing Havertz, we are going to let Xhaka go. I don't think they'd want to mess up everything that we built last season. So whatever I just said in terms of wanting to build a team before the preseason, I still think they're going to do that. They're also going to talk about Moses Caicedo. He might still end up coming back for him if you don't get Declan Rice. But since he pulled out from that, there has to be something to do with Declan Rice deal. Maybe they know something that we don't know. Maybe they already agreed long time ago and all this man still wanting him does not really matter to them. But let's see. And then they're also going to talk about Lavia. Lavia is a younger and cheaper option. Lavia would be seen as a replacement for Thomas Partey. I mean, I don't think Lavia would be a Thomas Partey replacement. If we signed both Lavia and Rice, I think Rice is the one who's going to be a Partey replacement. He could have also been used as a box-to-box, like in the Xhaka role. But Lavia, pressure, Thomas Partey replacement. Thomas Partey is one of the best midfielders in the league. Like he's put in the same pedestal as Rodri and Casemiro and those kind of guys. I don't think Lavia would be mentioned next to Rodri or Lavia would be mentioned next to Casemiro. I don't even think Lavia would be mentioned next to Partey. In the next 3-4 years, sure, you'd have developed his game, more used to the Premier League. He'd have competed for the big titles if he goes to a good team. And then also He basically learned about the game. He'll have had different midfield battles. He'd have competed against other top teams, smaller teams, known how to hold possession, known when to pass the ball, when to make a tackle. He might have already picked up a couple of yellow cards and red cards and known what he needs to do here and there. In the future, yes. But right now, as a 19-year-old playing in the most important position in the team, it's very, very crazy to actually take that risk, because it's like Lokonga. I'm not saying Lavia isn't the same as Lokonga, but same with Lokonga in terms of throwing him to the deep end. We threw Lokonga to the deep end, threw Tavares to the deep end, and Lokonga in that midfield, throwing him up against De Bruyne. That's suicidal. He was new in the Premier League, and then we didn't really expect him to play in the number 6 role all by himself. So for Lavia as well, Lavia is a guy you put on the bench, and then you have him for the first season, and then second season you start bringing him to the team. The first season you start bringing him to the team, and then second season maybe he starts starting a few games. But you can't, like, next season first game Lavia starting first next to Odegaard and someone else. No. I don't think he's there yet. And to replace this guy, it's going to take time, and this is one of the best. He's regarded as one of the best midfielders in the league. Speaking of Thomas Partey, John Cross also goes on to say Arsenal could cash in on Thomas Partey. We're expecting that. Bayer Leverkusen have already agreed the deal to sign Xhaka, and the likes of Rob Holding and Kiritini could go. Arsenal also want Ajax versatile defender GN team. I think the GN team one is progressing well. I think it's going to be our second signing. But for Partey leaving, we're expecting it. Xhaka leaving, we're expecting it after we hear Arsenal signing players. These guys will probably go. For someone like a Rob Holding, how much are we going to get for him? Tierney, you can actually get good money for him. Now, if you sell Tierney and players like Partey, you're going to get at least 40 million for them. Hopefully for Partey, at least we should be getting 40. And for Tierney, it's the same. Like, he was one of the best left backs when he came to the Premier League alongside Robertson. So we don't want to lose these players on a cheap, not at all. So that's the latest from John Cross. Mira is expecting a 100 million plus bid for Declan Rice. Personally, I think it's worth it. Is he overpriced? Yes. Is he overrated? I don't think so. I think it's going to make a huge difference. When we were linked to him the first time, I was like, we can't let him go to Man United. It's going to change them. Now, if we let him go to Man City as well, it's going to be very hard to catch up with them. So this is a deal that you have to get across the line. And I trust whatever Edu and Ata have done behind the scenes in terms of convincing him to become an Arsenal player. Let's hope it works. Let me know what you think about that. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you guys on the next one.